circuit just in case this helps you guys. And I know a lot of you have been working pretty hard on it. So I want to try and our main goal is to learn this stuff. So if I have to give out free points because I made a typo, I don't care. And I know you've worked hard on it already. That said, let's get to it. Generally speaking, I call this current I0. And the reason is simple because now I could call this I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, and then the letters A, B, C, D correspond to the currents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what I'm going to do. So I know everybody might choose different numbers, and that's totally fine. But I also know that this set of numbers will match my Canvas quiz calculations so that if we can use it to check any work against everybody, each other, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to call this I1, I2, I3, we were told goes to the left, I think, right? And this is going to be I4. And this is going to be I5. So that's the numbers and letters that I used. If you want to, you could call them IA, B, etc., and that also works. Okay, but this is just for some reason what I happen to choose. I don't know why. Now, in this problem, you may have different things, but since we're talking with these guys and they asked the question, we're going to do it. I think, tell me what you knew in this problem. I don't remember. Did we know, what were the givens? So just unmute and tell me.
The potential difference at B.
And then I'm going to be lazy and just call it VB instead of delta VB, okay?
Yeah.
VB.
RA. VD.
RC and RD? AED?
RC, IC.
Okay.
VD, yeah. And then RE.
Okay. So we know those things, right? And okay, hopefully you could see that okay. All right. And so what was your first plan of attack here? What did you try? We know IC and RC. Did you get voltage C right away?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, so we think voltage C. So we expect that voltage C should equal IC RC. And these are given. So that one's done. Then what did you do next?
I wrote down an equation basically relating all of the potentials in the upper loop of resistor A, D, and C.
That loop?
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know why, but that's not what my brain goes to. And this is why. I don't know if you could see this. So yes, I think you could do that. I want to show you this. Not that it's right. And there's so many different ways to do this. Do you agree the voltage between these two purple dots should be the same as the voltage of the battery?
Yeah.
Because it's right there. But do you agree that should be voltage B plus voltage C plus voltage D?
Interesting, but yeah.
So what I did is I said, well, shit, isn't E equal to voltage D plus voltage C plus voltage B? And we know all those now? And my reason for doing this is I can't help it. I'm a battery kind of guy. It's so nice to know what E, the voltage of the battery is, because then my brain thinks in a normal way for the rest of the problem. Now that I've got the trick, I could do any loop I want. I could now, what are we trying to figure out here? I have no idea. What are we trying to solve for?
Resistance at B. So that's
resistance B, right?
Yeah.
So in order to get resistance B, if we know the voltage at B, what's the other piece that you need? This current, right? So we need to figure out I2. Now, once I have this, and let's see. So let me see here. If I know this entire voltage, and I know this voltage, can't I figure out the voltage between the two green dots? So now I know the voltage at A is equal to, well, let me write it this way. The voltage at A plus the voltage of B, shouldn't that equal the voltage of the battery? That's doing this loop, right? I know that this voltage plus this voltage should add up to the battery because that's a loop. Now, once I do that, okay, well, I got VA. And you could do this is the same thing as doing that upper loop that you just did. So you did it in one less step than I did, right, Ryan? Does that make sense?
I guess, yeah.
But the issue is the signs are easier for me to understand when I do it this way, because here you've got to get the signs right from KVL sign convention. So we'll do that in just a second. But so here I see that this is E minus voltage B, because here I know, okay, clearly the voltage at A must be less than the voltage of the battery, and the voltage of B should be some positive number that I subtract. So I don't have to think so hard to remember my sign conventions. It's not that now what Ryan was saying was he was saying do this loop right here, right? Oh man, now I got to put my thinking cap on. So I'll call this loop W for Ryan. All right. All right. So loop W, let's say we start here. I would get minus, I already don't like this. So it's going to be going this way. It's minus I3 R3. And then we could go plus I1 RA minus I4 R4. Is that what you did, Ryan? Or RD?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you did that, let's see, all this has to add up to 0, right? It's a loop. So if we take Ryan's loop, that would be another way to do this. Now let me think. I know I3, IC, and I3 are the same thing. I know resistance 3. I1, we don't know it, but RA, we do know it. Were we able to figure out I4? Aha, we could figure out I4 if we need it. Or do you agree we know this? Isn't that just voltage D?
Yeah.
VD? Oh, I'm running out of room, aren't I? So then from that, you could get I1. Agreed?
Yeah.
All right. And then once you know I1, you know that I2 is equal to just I1 plus I3 add up to I2, right? So I guess what I was doing was I did this a little bit different way. I went this way. Once I get VA, do you agree I could get I1 that way? Does that make sense? So again, we knew VC, and I think this was I3. So that allowed us to figure out the battery voltage, which once we get that, we could figure out the voltage across anything. We got voltage A. Once I know voltage A, I have I1. Once I know I1, I can add those together to get I2, and it's the same procedure. And so I'm going to stop the live stream there, and then we'll address your particular questions. Does that sound good? Those are two different ways to go about this. I guess another thing you could have done, you could do a loop down here if you needed to figure out something about this one. I'm going to stop that live stream.